Welcome everyone.
You just muted yourself.
Welcome everyone. Today we have our another new episode and we will discuss on the Tesla car and why Tesla cars sales decreased. So we have our world famous speaker, Professor Rob. Professor Rob, what you want to discuss on this topic and how they can improve sales strategy?
Sure. Actually, I was talking more about electric cars in general. Electric car growth last year was running about 90%. This year, it's dropped to 15%. The market's still growing, but it's growing at a much reduced rate. And what happened is a lot of the initial buyers of electric cars, and most of them were Tesla buyers for the last decade, but got really bad experiences. And this is largely because the ecosystem wasn't in place. Batteries weren't providing enough range. That there were concerns about batteries failing, and the cars that were put on the road were kind of a combination of a mess of ICE, internal combustion engine technology, and electric car technology, resulting in even more complexity. One of the big problems we have with ICE cars, gas cars, is the fact that they have over time have had technology layered on technology, and they might have upwards of 8. At least my Audi has 9 processors in it. Each processor doing and handling a different set of functions. And in electric cars, you have an entirely separate electrical system. The system that operates your features in the car is 12 volt, but the electrical system that operates the propulsion in your car is not. It's very different, often 24 volt or higher. And the end result is you've got these redundant systems. So you can sell with an electric car, even if the battery is fully charged. You can have a situation where the 12 volt battery has discharged and the car won't work, which seems kind of silly if you think about it. You've got this huge battery and your car's telling you, yeah, no, I don't have any power, and I'm not going to turn on. So that was a mess, and while that's now getting sorted, the next generation of cars are expected to be far cheaper, far simpler, far more reliable, and we've got newer battery technology coming into the second half of the decade that is safer, has greater capacity, and will allow you to charge faster. The solid state batteries in particular allow you to charge much faster. The issue is all those early adopters over this last decade really, for the most part, got lousy experiences. And looking at Tesla in particular, when they first started out and you had a service problem, the experience was great. They'd show up with a replacement car. They'd take your car to work on it. And at least for a while, if you liked the replacement car, which is often a new car, you could pay them a delta amount, not the full cost of the car, but kind of the difference between what your old car was worth and the new car they loaned you, and you could keep it. I mean, it was really an unprecedented level of service. Well, over time, that changed, and now you're lucky if you can get your car into a dealership, and your drive is you get an Uber code to rent a car with, or to use the Uber service with, and people aren't all that excited about that. I mean, the change in service has just been the most dramatic with regard to Tesla, and so your first-time electric car buyers aren't coming back to buy again. Oh, and then on top of that, we've got the economic issues, high interest rates. Electric cars still cost a premium, and at least here in the United States, the subsidies that are provided by the government are only applied to a subset of electric cars, and not all of the electric cars. The cars have to be built here to get the subsidy, to get the tax credit. So that creates confusion as well. And the end result is pretty much across the world, with the possible exception of China, who has a unique set of problems. Electric car sales have been declining. Now in China, it's a different issue. They've actually, through aggressive technology development, they've created electric cars that are incredibly competitive with gas cars. They have longer range. They tend to charge faster. They're cheaper. They're decent looking. On spec, the Chinese electric cars are better, faster, cheaper than pretty much anything else in the world, except for some of the hyper electric cars, which are unique and none of us can afford. The problem with China is their quality control has gone to heck, and the reports of Chinese cars breaking down. I was watching a video yesterday of a woman that bought a brand new Chinese car, in China, and she was driving, and the rear end came apart on her. And unfortunately, it happened at low speed. If it had been at high speed, might have killed her. And apparently these, based on the news coverage that was coming out of China, this is not a rare occurrence. A lot of these cars are coming apart catastrophically due to really bad quality control. It's not a technology problem. It's not a materials problem. It's just a quality problem with the building of these automobiles there. So a little different, but likely causing people in China to also say, yeah, maybe these electric cars aren't for me because they're kind of falling apart on the road. And we really don't want that experience of watching your wheels go off in different directions while you're trying to go straight. So a lot of issues with regard to electric cars, but almost all of them having to do with growing pains. The next generation of electric cars will start showing up in the 2025 model year, and then the 2026 model year should also be even better. And as we get through the second half of the decade, things are going to get quite a bit better. And we've had a number of changes with regard to some of the complexity issues, like the fact that most cars were using a plug that was very different than the Tesla plug, and now the Tesla plug has become the standard. And so once we get the charging stations flipped over to that design, and then the cars start showing up that use the Tesla socket, that'll be one more thing and one more problem that has been solved. But we've been experiencing a lot of growing pains here over the last decade, and the end result is it's reduced demand significantly.
Yeah. Professor Rob, when you're discussing about Tesla, can you compare with the other electric car with Tesla?
Sure. What really made Tesla different is, unlike a lot of the car companies who kind of took gas cars and added batteries to them, or gas car constructs and added batteries to them, Tesla was a ground up effort. And they recognized early on that part of the problem was, the big part of the problem was going to be charging. And so they, unlike anybody else, put in a charging network, and it was a good charging network. Here in the United States, the Tesla charging network was far better up until just recently than any of the other independent charging networks out there, even collectively better than those other charging networks. So they looked at the problems. They emphasized initially customer care. They built the cars ground up as electrics. And they were able to cost reduce much more aggressively as a result, as the technology matured, and the end result was, at least for a while, a better experience at what was a lower price. There were issues. Tesla also had significant quality problems, largely due to the fact that they had very few automotive people running the plant. The Tesla came up more like a technology company than an automotive company. And at least initially, you got the sense that they really didn't know what they were doing with cars all that well, which is what was going into the quality issues. That got resolved over time, but it was very different than, say, what Jaguar did when they tried to turn themselves around, where they brought in a whole bunch of people from Mercedes to operate the plants, and they were able, at least for a time, to get their quality up, because Jaguar also had a fairly significant quality problem, almost a legendary quality problem for decades. So Tesla did a number of things right. They focused on the technology first. They didn't try to retrofit a gas car. They went after the things that were going to be very problematic, like charging, and they addressed that very effectively, not only with a better plug solution, but with a better charging network. And then they were very aggressive, at least initially, with regard to customer care and customer experience. A lot of that's been broken now. They just laid off all of their people that were working on their charging network. So I expect we're going to start seeing increasing problems with that network as a result. And they've been really iffy on maintaining staffing for quality control, which is, I think, really resulted in very uneven quality over time. And of course, they've been moving their staff all over the place. Originally, pretty much all in California, and now it's split between California and Texas. And Californians are probably nowhere near as fond of, about as fond of Texas as Texans are fond of California. So they've had a number of recent issues that have taken the bloom off the rose. Not the least of which, of course, is Musk himself, who has caused an awful lot of drama with his customer base. He is very conservative, and his customer base tends to be very liberal. And so we've got conflicts going on between the people that buy Teslas and what Musk does, which is also creating a drag on the company and sales.
Thank you. Mr. Noor, what you want to discuss about Bangladesh market, especially the electric car? I think if you want to compare with the Western world, Bangladesh market is new and virgin for electric car. Do you believe it has market for electric vehicles?
Thank you very much. Uh, yes, the present world is moving towards the greener world, but in our country, it's not come all together. But at present situation, we have seen that yeah, the electric cars selling growth has been decreases to 19% to 15%. So this is an alarming situation that I have learned from the news agency. But in our country, it's not coming towards. In our country, in Bangladesh, in prospect, cars are not coming. Electric cars are not coming all in here. There is little distance vehicles are providing electric. There is coming to us that I am telling about that in our country the normal Tesla or this like cars is not available in here. So what I have learned that um, the present situation is for several reasons that sales or growth has been dropped in the worldwide or in the US. Uh, there is oversupply of the cars. There is Tesla or Tesla is the more provider of the electric car, and there are some other cars provider also, but and they have maybe 500 days or 500 times more production. For this reason, is overflowed and supply is more. For this reason, the sales price also growth maybe. Another is price. They also increases the prices 30,000 to 50,000 more. It is also the situation that when the prices increases, maybe the normal um, rent car or anything, it will be also increases. In this situation, it will not grow more, and the people will not like to buy all kinds of cars. That is rent a car is more price is they have to provide. Another reason is that the reason I see that a electric car can be doing 300 miles after recharging. It's also a less period of time. When they people go to the distance, um, the longer distance, they cannot use the electric vehicles. Another thing is that when a buyer buy a electric cars and use it for some years, after when they go for resale it, they cannot get a proper price. They are getting less price than the other vehicles. Another thing is that most people are saying that battery system and battery technology is not appropriate. They cannot charge them well. They don't have the garage system, or when go for any distance, they always concern or anxiety have anxieties for the um, charging when their car will be recharged on where they can recharge it. This is the situation. Another that insurance price also increases for the electric cars, and consumers at that present they cannot spend more time on charging. They are very much hasty. For this reason, they are thinking that they cannot spend more time in charging the batteries. So and price is also higher. People also like to buy a lower cost vehicles. For this reason, present situation is occurred in electric vehicles, and growth decreases. That is I'm thinking, and I also think that it can be minimized, and the future of the electric vehicles is very bright, and I think the companies can research well about this situation, how they can develop this crisis at this moment. I think they can um, um, that is battery technology can be improved. The durability and longevity should be improved, and lots of things they can apply for that. Solar energy also can be used, and automated energy that can be produce electricity in the car. This also can be applied. In this way, they can um, minimize the situation. I think it will be minimized, and our present world is uh, assuming that, yeah, 2030 it will be a greener world where there will be no or zero emission of carbon dioxide. In this way, they can improve it. I think so.
Thank you, Mr. Noor. Professor Rock, what do you think? When the big companies like Tesla, their sales decrease, how they involve with the emerging economy to enhance their organizational sales or their organizational business?
Well, to a certain extent, at least up until now, Elon Musk hasn't believed in marketing. That's changed recently. He's finally staffed marketing. I kind of feel sorry for whoever does the job though, because he really doesn't believe in marketing. And when you've got a sales slowdown like this, it's marketing is one of the organizations you lean on to increase demand. And this just isn't an area of expertise for Tesla. The other issue, of course, with Elon is he's almost consistently distracted. Tesla isn't the only company that he's running, and clearly Twitter has become a huge drag on his time and pretty much on his income too, because he's the one that's personally keeping Twitter alive as he kills it on the side. So as far as marketing capability and sales capability, remember Tesla was designed around more of an idea of like Apple. You go into a store, you talk to a sales rep, not a salesperson who's on commission, but a sales rep, somebody that's on salary. And in most cases, you already knew you wanted a Tesla. They're just helping you get the car that you wanted and pick the features or whatever. That's great when you're in high demand. The end works fine, but when demand starts to fall, as it is both through competition and because of the issues that I mentioned earlier with regard to electric cars, then you really need a much stronger sales organization, and particularly you need a marketing organization that can get people excited about the cars. The fact that they're really they had an early warning last decade when Porsche brought out the Taycan, almost all of the early orders for Taycans were Tesla buyers, Tesla owners. And then that showcased that Tesla had missed some dynamic with their customer base, and largely that customer base that wanted a performance car that looked like a performance car. And by not addressing that need, they started to bleed return customers. Now they were still getting in more customers than they were losing, which showcased their growth. But it was a declining curve, and we're now seeing that curve hit home pretty hard this year, where an awful lot of Tesla owners have dumped their Teslas, gone back to gas cars, haven't bought other electrics. Some did buy those Porsches, but Porsche's got issues as well. And that lack of marketing, that lack of rigorous sales capability, has really damaged their ability to weather this downturn. Tesla is still mostly the market maker for electric cars in the world, the outside of China, and though a couple companies are coming up out of China pretty impressively. And so the end result is they've cut they've kind of tried to enhance a capability that they don't believe in, and it's no surprise that capability isn't really working for them yet. It's hard in any function to be performant if the company you're working for really doesn't believe in what it is you're doing, and that's the case with Tesla and marketing. Elon just does not believe in marketing, and so he's grudgingly funded it. But it looks like he's just in a position of wanting to say, "I told you so." This isn't going to work because he hasn't adequately funded it. He hasn't adequately staffed it, and he hasn't in any way, shape, or form given marketing the support they need to be effective. So right now, on the sales and marketing side, Tesla's weakness is hurting them badly.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Noor, like how do you think about emerging economy market? How emerging economy can be helpful for big company like Tesla?
Could you please repeat it again?
How emerging economy, like country like Bangladesh economy can be helpful company like Tesla?
Yes, if in Bangladesh, also take in these vehicles they can provide in Bangladesh, they can be benefited afterward. Our in Dhaka city is most populated and polluted city in Bangladesh and overall the world. So the government should apply these electric vehicles in Dhaka city. It can be um, afterward the zero emission of the carbon dioxide, and greener world will come, and greener city will get in Bangladesh. I think if the Tesla like company comes to Bangladesh and applied their technology here.
Thank you, Professor Rob. How Tesla can improve their sales? What your advice?
Oh,
Well,
I, I, yes,
Uh,
at present.
I asked Mr. Noor, I asked these questions to Mr. Rob Enderle about
Okay,
increase the sales of Tesla. Thank you.
thank you.
yeah. So Tesla needs to be fixed. I mean, I think they need a leadership lane change at the top. They need a full-time CEO. This part-time CEO thing that Musk is doing isn't giving them the attention that they need at the top. And the salary, the CEO salary, is excessive. I mean, it's massive, and it pulls from R&D and Tesla's ability to market and sell their products. So to fix Tesla, it really needs to start at the top, and I think Musk needs to focus on his other companies, and they need to bring in a CEO that will actually work on Tesla. And they need to stop the bleeding. They've been losing top executives pretty regularly over the last few months, and these are the people that were kind of keeping the company going, and now they're gone, and so the Tesla's ability to execute throughout the rest of the year is going to be damaged by those departures. So they need an executive team that is consistent, that is willing to do the job that an executive team is required to do. They need to staff up marketing and fund it. And then they need to go back in and look at the automobiles themselves, address their quality problems, really learn from the mistake of the Cybertruck, the Tesla truck, and make sure they don't make it again, because that just was a horrible design. And the designers inside Tesla wanted a very different vehicle. And I've seen pictures of the vehicle they wanted, and I think it would have sold much better. I think it would have held up better too, than what Musk wanted, but Musk overrode, and he got the truck he wanted, though it's not clear he drives one. But the end result, it wasn't the truck the market wanted. And by the way, pickup trucks in general, electric pickup trucks in general, have been doing surprisingly poorly. I think that's due to the fact that pickup truck drivers tend to be somewhat Luddite in nature, that they're not technology leaders. It's just the nature of a pickup truck driver that they want something that's more utilitarian. Certainly they like the power, but the reality is they're really not on the cutting edge of technology, which makes selling them an electric truck much more difficult. Even the Ford truck, which really tried to embrace better the concept of old versus new, because that truck kind of looks like an F-150, just electric, and it's got a decent set of features for people that use trucks for work. But it just hasn't sold all that well. And the GM truck appears to be better, at least with regard to range, and it hasn't done all that well either. The pickup truck market just doesn't seem to be excited about electrics at the moment, and that's a marketing problem to fix. And again, without marketing, Tesla can't address the problem. So they need to change their executive staff, need full-time folks, automotive folks that understand the market, and then they need to go down and address some of the internal problems with regard to customer care, vehicle design, and quality control that have been plaguing the company.
Excellent. Mr. Nurvaya, what you want to discuss? Yeah, please. Mr. Nurvaya.
Yes, please. Yeah, you are asking for what can do for that is Tesla can do now. Yes, they can change the design of their cars, and price should be minimized in this way. Another thing is that battery technology should be improved uh, uh, in this category, and the people maybe have the rumor, or they may be hatred about the car, that they don't get the proper as um, service after service from the uh, company. That may be hatred to them. Maybe, yeah, that is. I also learned from the news that people are telling that their battery system is damaged. When they go for uh, doing the charging, at the time they cannot charge properly because their battery system is damaged. In this situation, should be careful about that. In this way, they can improve, I think.
Mm. Thank you. Professor Robin, that is specifically when we see the Tesla sales also decrease, on the other hand, stock market also heavily affected for that particular issue. But what do you want to share about the stock price and the NASDAQ operations about Tesla and stock price?
Well,
And
so certainly the behavior of the CEO has had an overarching and adverse impact on the stock price. People that were investing in the company, at least domestically or in the United States, were largely liberal. And when Musk clearly took a hard shift to the right and bought Twitter, he upset not only the buyers of Tesla cars, but the investors in Tesla. And Tesla had, for a long time, has actually been one of the most shorted stocks. That's basically where you sell the stock. You bet the stock's going to go down, and then you buy it back at the lower price to return it, and you make your money on the delta. And short sellers on Tesla have almost been legion, and historically so, but appear to be much worse as we've come into this decade. So the end result is that their poor quality control, their poor PR, their CEO's behavior, and the decreasing support of Tesla owners have all had an adverse impact on Tesla's valuation. On top, of course, the more direct declining sales.
Mhm. Mr. Nouri, do you have any discussion on stock market?
Yes, yeah, it's a big, huge market in the worldwide. For this reason, decreasing of the price must be affected to the stock price issue. So I think it is a huge fall in price fall. I think after it will take some time for increasing this price, and I think it will be recover. I hope it will be recover.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Noor, what's your closing remarks for today's session?
Yes, I think
What?
present world is going for. Uh, you are telling me.
Yes.
Yes, I think the Teslas or the electric vehicles price is dropped, but it will increase in some days. I think when the present situation is overcome, the price also will be increased, and I hope um, the world will going to a greener world soon in 2030. I think all of the um, difficulties they can understand and increase their difficulties soon.
Thank you, Professor Robin. Tell you, what's your closing remarks and what's your advice for Tesla?
Okay, right now we're in a transition period from gas cars to electric cars, and with all transition periods, you've got hills and valleys. We're in a valley now, and we're waiting for some technological changes that will put us back on an increase again, as well as other electric car entries. In the meantime, we're going to see a number of companies up on gas cars. A number of the companies that had said that they're going to be all electric in 5 years have said, yeah, no, that's not the plan anymore, and that's likely the case. We're reaching a much more reasonable state, a slower migration to electrics, one that the industry can support more easily, and a lot of the underlying problems like the charging networks and multiple plugs are being addressed, but it's going to take a number of years to address it. I expect by the end of the decade, we'll have much of this stuff sorted. Electrics will be the if not the dominant form of automobiles sold, certainly close to it. And many of the problems will have gone away. For Tesla, they really need to take control of their image. That's the first. If there are a lot of influential folks that are just bad-mouthing the company with effect, and a lot of those folks are ex-Tesla drivers, which becomes problematic because those are your advocates, and now they're advocating anything but Tesla. So they need to turn that around, and that really starts at the top. They need to fix Musk. He has become their greatest impediment to advancement, and maybe he needs to migrate over and be a CTO for a while, but just step out of operations. The combination of his excessive salary and his shenanigans has done the company just a tremendous amount of damage. And it's not clear he's doing it any good at the moment. His influence on the Tesla truck was anything but positive. And in fact, it's been quite some time since we've heard anything positive coming out of his efforts at Tesla. And the focus on his compensation has been, at the very least, distracting. So that they need to get their act together, and desperately so. We have not seen the end of the downturn for Tesla because the impact of his recent layoffs and the resignations of key people and entire organizations have yet to be felt, and that's likely all going to have an adverse impact on Tesla sales until they get back to a steady state. So I'm not really positive about Tesla this year. The company is big enough to survive these changes if they get aggressive about fixing some of the underlying problems. But at the very least, the instability of staff it just makes execution very hard. And so they need to reach a state where they can get back to executing again. They need to get the low cost car in market, the volume car in market. They've done some interesting things in China. Musk did do something to pop the stock by going to China and getting them to agree to allow him to do autonomous car testing there. But recognize that Chinese electric cars are much cheaper and now much more advanced than Tesla's cars. And both the Chinese car makers and Tesla have quality problems. So there's no big quality advantage in Tesla, which should be the case. So in the end, they've got potential. Tesla still is really the strongest electric pure play, though BYD is chasing them pretty fast. And so they've got time to recover, but they've got to get serious about the recovery because this stuff isn't going to go away by itself. So until they correct the governance issues, the management issues, and address the marketing shortfall, I'm thinking there's more downside to Tesla than upside short term. And then if they can address those issues, there's no reason why Tesla couldn't rise again.
Thank you, Professor Rao, for your continuous support for World Internet Economy Forum. Thank you, Mr. Noor Bhuiya, for joining today's session. I request all of our audience, please share our content as much as possible. Mr. Noor, you have your students, I know, or your community. You can share our content. It's 100% free. And through this process, your students and your community can learn about modern science, engineering, and technology. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Thank you. Bye-bye, and take care.
Thank you so much.